Namaskar and welcome to In Focus. The Bharatiya Janata Party has a new president and in fact it now talks about itself as the new BJP. But what does all of this mean? Today in an exclusive interview to In Focus, the new president Kushabhau Thakre talks about the new BJP and the government of which it is a central part. Mr. Thakre, I want first of all to talk to you about the party of which you have just become president. At your recent National Council, the phrase the new BJP was coined. What is the new BJP?
You see, a new responsibility has been come on us. Up till now we were an opposition party. Now we are a ruling party. And again we are heading a coalition government. So we have to take all these parties with us. We have to take the whole country with us. And therefore, that attitude we have also to develop, to work with others.
Explain something to me. You're talking about a change of attitude. How does the new BJP differ from the old BJP?
You see, BJP was an opposition party. It did not depend for its decisions on others. But now we have to accommodate other allies also when taking decisions about the government.
So the new BJP is essentially a response to the fact that you are today a ruling party?
Yes, definitely.
Is that the only change between the old and the new?
I think that is the only thing. Because otherwise we will think, our thinking, I don't think there is any change is necessary.
So the thinking remains the same, it's the attitude that's changed because you are a ruling party?
Ruling party, yes.
Your predecessor, Mr. Advani, when he was talking in Gandhinagar, said, and I want to quote to you, he said, the new BJP will be guided not by the issues of yesterday, but by the agenda of tomorrow. Explain to us, as you see it, what is the agenda of tomorrow?
You see, things change. Any country or any political situation in a country changes day by day. And we have to adjust ourselves to new problems that are coming before us. There are financial problems, there are political problems, and we have to face them as they come.
So the agenda of tomorrow is a capacity to be pragmatic to a changing reality.
Yes.
In other words, what he's saying is that we have no hide-bound prescriptions. We will face the situation and do the best as the situation requires.
Yes. And that I have explained, really speaking, in my own presidential speech in detail. This question came before us only when people tried to differentiate between ideology and fundamentalism. I have said there, ideology is a guidance. It gives a direction to the party. But fundamentalism is not a good attitude. It restricts your working capacity.
I'm very glad to hear you make this distinction between fundamentalism and ideology.
Yes.
I only want to talk to you about ideology. Let's in fact talk about ideology. You said in your presidential address, and I'll quote it, you said, our ideology has been our cutting edge. We cannot lose sight of it, nor can we afford to stray away from it. As you see it, what is the core ideology of the new BJP?
You see, I think it can be described in many ways. Our country is not a new country. Our nation is not a new nation born just in 1947. It's a historical country, a history of more than 5,000 years. And during these years, we have developed a style of life. We have developed certain norms for our lives. And they are our guiding principles. They have been described in various ways. You have described it as Hindutva, people have described it as Bharatiyata, you can describe it as Indianness. But there is a distinct style of life in India.
So you're saying that the ideology of the BJP is that special quality which makes Indians different from everyone else?
Yes.
Huh?
And one thing very clearly comes out. It's a inclusive ideology,
Not exclusive.
not exclusive.
All religions are part of it.
Yes, yes.
All regions, all languages,
Yes.
all people.
They are there is an inclusive.
There's something else. This is a ideology that is actually
And I
determined
will,
by a shared culture, not by any doctrinal acceptance of left or right,
Yes,
Marxism or
that has-
capitalism.
that has never been there. And in one word, if I have to describe it, I will call it Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Okay, you have actually defined ideology in a very intriguing way. Up till now, the word ideology has usually meant a doctrinal approach to politics, not fundamentalism, but a doctrinal approach. It's usually been associated with terms of left and right, capitalism or Marxism or socialism. You're not talking about any of that. You're talking about a shared cultural concept that is a derivative of a shared historical experience. You're talking about the uniqueness that makes Indians Indian.
That is our history.
But
I will just quote some examples. Vedas were there. That has been our philosophy. Then it was explained in Upanishads. Then Karma Kanda came.
जी और बुद्धिज्म भी इसका हिस्सा था
Yes,
और जैनिज्म भी था.
I will come to it. Karma Kanda आया. उसमें there was no karuna in it, in Karma Kanda. Then Jainism and Buddhism came. And one peculiarity of our culture has been from truth to truth. We have never denied our history, we have not denied our past.
I accept all that, but can I make a very important point, which I think and I hope you will accept? You are using the word ideology very differently to the way capitalists or Marxists or socialists use the word ideology.
I don't
In
use
fact,
that.
in fact, the word ideology is almost misleading in this context. You don't mean ideology,
No.
you mean the BJP is guided by a shared culture.
You see, you may interpret in any way, but this is what I mean. I
Okay.
want to explain. Because our thinking is just widespread, not restricted to certain things. It has never been our thinking.
I accept that, and I think a lot of people who up till now have associated doctrinal, ideological connotations will be very pleased to hear what you're saying. Let me then follow it up with this question. Where in the thinking of the BJP, I'm not using the word ideology, I'm saying thinking, do issues like Ayodhya, Article 370, the Uniform Civil Code, are they still central to your thinking?
You see, really speaking, there has been a misunderstanding on these problems. Is Common Civil Code our agenda? Was it not there in the Constitution? We were not the Constitution framers.
I accept it. What about, I accept that. What about Ayodhya and building the Ram
Again, this
temple?
370 is not our agenda. It is there in the Constitution. And because we espoused these constitutional provisions to be implemented, it becomes communal. When Dr. Rajan Prasad, Jawaharlal ji said all these things, they were not communal.
What about Ayodhya and building a Ram
Ayodhya,
temple?
you see, after all, can you just remove Ram from India? Can you think India without Ram? Tell me.
Thakre sahab, you very interestingly and if I may say very cleverly worked your way around those. Let me ask a simple question. How central to the thinking of the BJP, how central to the core of the new BJP are these three issues?
They are there, you see. We don't reject them. We think that it is in the interest of the nation.
Quite right, but how central to your thinking are they? Are they core issues? Are they priorities?
See, all these issues are important from the point of view of the nation. And therefore, we have said about that, we have espoused that cause, and we don't say that we have abandoned all that. But
मगर थोड़ा तो आपने पीछे इनको कर ही दिया है.
what we have to do today and what we can do today, that is our today's agenda.
कल की बात आप कर नहीं रहे.
नहीं, कल की बात का मतलब they are not against the interest of the nation at all.
No, I'm not saying that.
They
You
are
see,
not.
let me tell you why I asked this question. You said a moment ago that ideology is the cutting edge. You can't lose sight of it. You don't want to stray away from it. साथ साथ आपने अपने presidential address में ये भी कहा था that the BJP's agenda is the same as the agenda of the coalition, that the party has no different agenda from the government. अब सरकार के agenda में तो ये तीन चीजें हैं नहीं है. इसलिए मैं आपको पूछ रहा हूँ पार्टी के agenda में ये तीन कितनी important है?
Is a signatory to the agenda. How can we go away from that? We are there. And we have to implement it sincerely.
तो आप ये भी कह रहे हैं ना?
And this is what we can do today. But that doesn't mean that what we said about these matters, they are not national issues. That we have never said it.
Tell me something.
And fortunately for us, the Congress, the CPI, Mr. Chidambaram, Mr. Gadgil, and Mr. Gupta, they have taken up these things to propagate these things in the people.
Let's leave them aside. Let me ask you a simple question. If tomorrow or day after the BJP has a majority on its own, and if you are able to form a government of your own, will you then put these three issues at the front of the agenda?
I need not say anything about it.
Why?
We will think when it comes.
So there is a possibility कि तब भी आप ना करें.
हमको जिसे कहना चाहिए कि जो उस समय करना जरूरी है वो करेंगे.
और लेकिन तभी बताएंगे.
उसी दिन विचार करेंगे.
लेकिन इसका ये भी मतलब
ये all these programs change from day to day.
Thank you, sir. आप जो मैं सुनना चाहता था आप कह गए कि there is no guarantee कि even after you form a government of your own, you will implement these.
I would not use those words.
नहीं, लेकिन
I would not use those words because that gives a wrong connotation.
मैं समझ गया, but you said
gives a wrong message to the people.
मगर साहब आपने ये तो कहा था कि things change from day to day.
Yes, they do change.
Leave it there, sir. Let's not spoil it. Leave it there.
No. I will not leave it there. Even today, people think that this should be done.
But today you're not doing it.
They change the opinion. There can be a change of opinion. Let me
come to something else. In your presidential address at Gandhinagar, you spoke about one nation, one people, one culture. Yeah. Everyone accepts India is one nation. Everyone accepts that India is one people. Are we really one culture?
Yes, because I think they have got a different idea. They think about something else. Culture of this country is the same. Thinking of this country is the same. Whoever may be the person, you go to him and scratch his skin and you will know that he believes in what this country believes.
Which is? Please define it for me. Which is?
Which is this Indian culture.
तो मुझे ये बताइएगा, if people say to you that by referring to this Indian culture as Hindutva, you mislead, would you be prepared to change the term?
Tell them a new name.
Indianness, Bharatiyata.
Yes, I will accept. I have no objection.
कल से अपने minorities को.
मैं कहूँगा कि नहीं कहूँगा, लेकिन मैं कहूँगा बाकी लोगों को ये मानना है कि जो हम सोचते हैं वो भारतीयता के नाम से ज्यादा अच्छी तरह से प्रदर्शित होता है. I have said it in my presidential address.
आप ये क्यों नहीं कहने को तैयार?
मैंने कहा.
आप कहेंगे?
मैंने कहा
कल से हिंदुत्व की जगह आप भारतीयता कहेंगे?
मैंने कहा है, अपने एड्रेस में कहा है. I have said it.
Let's leave it.
I don't fight with words. I want to know the substance.
Let's leave it there. I want to take a commercial break. I think you've helped us understand very clearly that when the BJP talks about ideology, they mean something very different to a doctrinal approach. I want now in part 2 to talk to you about the government of which your party is the central part. But first, sir, we'll take a quick commercial break. Don't go away. We'll be back with you in just a couple of moments. Welcome back. We're talking to the new president of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Kushabhau Thakre. Mr. Thakre, I want in this part to talk to you about the government of which your party is the central part. But first let me ask you, What will be the future role of Mr. Advani in the Bharatiya Janata Party?
He is our builder of this party, the worker, that central, that he is there. His
But
position.
he today is an important worker.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Let me put it like this. Will you consult Mr. Advani before taking major decisions?
I consult others, always. That has been my way of life. Always consult others. Don't advise unless asked for.
लेकिन इन others में Advani साहब भी होंगे?
Many more persons are there, and Advani's advice is very valuable to me. Atalji's advice is very valuable to me. It has been there like that, and it is not connected with the post which he holds.
Will his advice be influential? Will it determine your decisions?
You see, even a small man's advice should be considered properly. हमारे कल्चर में दत्तात्रेय एक देवता है और दत्तात्रेय के गुरु सैकड़ों थे. He learned from everybody.
तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि आप
सोना कैसे,
सबसे
उठना
सीखने,
कैसे, बैठना कैसे, छोटी छोटी बातें.
आप कह रहे हैं आप सबसे सुनने को तैयार हैं, सबसे सीखने को तैयार हैं. इन सब में से अडवाणी जी भी शामिल होंगे.
बहुत बड़ी बात है. वो एक बहुत हमारे बिल्डर रहे हैं पार्टी के, और उस नाते से उनका एडवाइस बहुत मेरे लिए वैल्यूएबल है, रहेगा.
So let's then move forward. Let's look to the future. Suppose this government lasts a year and a half only. What will happen to the general secretaries, the vice presidents who have today left their party positions and joined the government? Will you then take them back in top party positions?
I don't think that is necessary. I don't think that is necessary. I don't visualize that this government will fall so quickly.
But if it does, will you take these people back?
As you say, I need not change the party. Not necessary.
So हो सकता है कि people like प्रमोद महाजन और सुषमा स्वराज साल डेढ़ साल में ना कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर है, ना पार्टी के हायरार्की में भी होंगे.
कोई चिंता नहीं.
किस्मत की बात है.
उसमें कोई किस्मत का सवाल नहीं है. उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता हमारे पार्टी के वर्किंग में, क्योंकि वन हु इज ए ऑफिस बेयरर एंड वन हु इज नॉट ए ऑफिस बेयरर, सबका जिसे कहना चाहिए इक्वली उपयोग है पार्टी के लिए, और कल भी रहेंगे. उसमें क्या है?
One of the BJP's principal election promises was a stable government. So let me ask you this. How important for the BJP is the success of this government?
It is very important for us and for the country itself.
Country तो बाद में मैं
नहीं, country की बात है.
मैं बाद में आपकी पार्टी के पूछना चाहता हूँ.
पार्टी के लिए भी महत्व की है, क्योंकि ये एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हमारे ऊपर आई हुई है.
And it is important you fulfill it well.
Yes, we want to fulfill it properly.
And God forbid, if the government is not a success, it will reflect badly on the
I
party.
don't think like that.
Okay, let me
It will going to be a success.
Let me put this to you. Are you worried by the fact that many ordinary people say that the government performance has been faltering, that the government seems to be quarreling with itself?
I don't think the people's perception must have changed now.
Because of the bombs?
Yes.
But you know that perception can change just as dramatically if American sanctions, Japanese sanctions, British, German sanctions start to hurt.
You see, these things come, but we can overcome them. Again, here the substance matters.
The pain.
Whether we will be able to solve the people's day-to-day problems.
Sir, if foreign
that is going to be the personal perception of the people.
Bilkul, sir. If foreign investment, if World Bank loans, if IMF loans, if direct technology transfers, if these start to dry up, we won't be solving people's problems.
I am not so panicky, because after all, our development has not been only dependent on these foreign aids. It is hardly 15%.
Self-reliance is an important thing.
Yes, and I think self-reliance will come.
Let me pick up.
If you help us, all right. If you don't help us, without you.
Let me pick up something you said. You said a moment ago that people's perceptions of the government will have changed as a result of the 3 nuclear explosions. Are you suggesting that perhaps these nuclear explosions were done because the government wanted to change its image?
No. That way, the government doesn't survive on populist actions. That was done in the interest of the country, that was done there. And fortunately, people's perception have changed. Now this government means business. They can deal with the foreigners also. They cannot afford to blackmail India.
There is a sense in what you're saying which sounds like this. If the foreigners try and are difficult or belligerent, we will teach them a lesson.
I do not want to teach a lesson. I want to run the government. I want to run the nation.
But you are prepared to defy the rest of the world if they impose sanctions.
You see, that the nation must be ready for everything.
In this
I just don't want to use this defiance and these words I don't like.
Let me put it like this. Are we being brave, or is this a sign of folly and bravado?
No, no. I don't think it's a bravado. It was a necessity.
Okay.
And it should have been done much earlier. The bluff of the international blackmailers should have been called much earlier.
The other important election promise of the BJP was that you were going to give the country an able leader. As his party president, has Mr. Vajpayee lived up to these expectations?
Yes, he did live. And he is going to be a very able Prime Minister.
When people say, and small people in tea shops, small people in restaurants, small people eating ice cream in Delhi street corners, कि Jaya Lalita इनको चला रही हैं, कि Prime Minister साहब succumbs to Jaya Lalita's pressure, does that worry you?
You see, it's a coalition government and roadblocks come, but they will be overcome. That is not a very big problem. The coordination committee, it ran very smoothly. There were no problems. The allies understood our position, we understood their position. It all went very peacefully. Nobody raised any nasty question there.
Let me try and sum up this part by putting a sort of dilemma to you. As you said, the success of this government is very important to the BJP party. On the other hand, the BJP party is only one part of this government. So given the sort of problems the government has had, given the sort of image people have, what advice would you give Mr. Vajpayee? What advice would you give him?
It's a coalition government. And there are bound to be strains and all that. And again, even if one party government is there are democratic pressures. They are always there. This is the system. These democratic pressures, all there, will be there. Even if it is a one party government.
I understand. But what advice would you give Mr. Vajpayee to help him sustain these pressures, help him to forge ahead?
I don't think he needs any advice. He's a seasoned politician. He's a seasoned diplomat. He knows his duty well.
He doesn't need advice, or he won't take advice from you?
No, he doesn't need it. And I don't believe in backseat driving.
My last question, and then I'll end the interview. The newspapers had speculated that Mr. Vajpayee had reservations about your becoming party president.
At least he has signed my nomination paper. How can I say that?
You get on perfectly with him.
No, you see, we are working for the last 50 years together. Right from 1942, we are working together.
So papers make mischief because they have no other story to tell.
That's all.
All right. On that note, Mr. Thakre, thank you very much for talking so openly to In Focus.
Thank you.
That's it for this week. We'll be back next week with another interviewee. But for today, from the BJP's headquarters in New Delhi, goodbye.